Hi, welcome to Arty Crafty Alchemy. Today I'll be using my March Hedgehog Hollow box featuring LDRS to create a pop-up box. I'm the Arty Crafty Alchemist. Let's create some magic. So I've got this piece of cardstock out of my stash, and from our pack of papers I have chosen these two to be our main pieces. And I have picked out this butterfly one because I thought I could fussy cut some butterflies out of it to add to our box. I'm going to use our stamp set and matching dies. I've misplaced my black ink, but I do want to say I am using Copics, and I will not be using the LDRS ink for Copic because I coloured this bottom section with colourless blender so you could see what happens when you colour with Copics and the LDRS inks. I haven't tried them with water yet, but I'm not happy with how it works with Copics, so I'm going to stick with my Memento for my inking today. I'm just going to pop all this aside for now and grab some Neenah, and I'm actually going to use our Furry Fabulous stamp set and dies, and then I'm going to take the Sun Bunny stamp set and use some of that as well. So first up, I'm going to do all the stamping I need. I'm going to grab my stamp platform. Oh, I like this. These ones come with some tape along the top so that you don't lose your sheet. I've actually taken tape and sticking it to the stamp sets myself so I don't lose those bits. Now I'm going to leave some gaps so that their dies fit around, and then from the Sun Bunny stamp set I'm going to take these flowers, pick them up, and then I'm going to use my Memento to make them. Okay, so we have some nice crisp images. I'm going to clean off those stamps. I may actually stamp a bow and a bone and some of these flowers as well. I'm just going to move these flowers along, pick them up again, make sure everything's stamped nicely. And then again, I'm just going to remove the things I might need more than one of and restamp them. So this is some Neenah from the box that I'm using. It's growing on me. I'm getting more used to it. I did have some in my stash somewhere, but I don't know where it's gone. That will do for now. I can always come back and do some more if I decide I need more. Putting all these itty bitty stamps away in case I lose them. I've chosen this colour from the base from my stash, and I'm going to use these pieces of paper to help me choose my Copic or Pro marker colours, whichever is going to work better. Here you can see all my colour swatching. I have used this piece of paper to help me pick some colours that are close. I have Pro markers and Copics. I'm not sure what I'm using yet, and I'll probably need to pick some different tones for her hair, but we'll see. Just going to pop these aside for now. So I didn't think about this for a while. I think we'll go with these oranges for our dog. We can but try and see how he looks. So I'm just going to colour in. Now I've got YR20, YR23 and 0538 Pro marker. So I've done my lightest, my darkest, my medium. I'm just going to blend it all with the lightest. Because it's fur, I'm not being too particular about blending out the lines. So again, I've stamped in Memento because I do not like the LDRS inks for alcohol blending. Just doing some very quick colouring today, or trying to. Maybe a little too orange. And this time I think I'm just going to use the two colours so these bits will be darker. So I'm going to go over it to add a bit more texture in. Give him a red nose. Going to use Y28. I'll let that dry and then I'll come back and go over it. Now for Winnie, I think I will take BG13, BG11 and BG10. So because she's so tiny, I've just decided to do the dots in the BG13 and do her dress in BG11 and BG10. As well as her itty little shoes. And I'm just going to do that tiny little line at the bottom with the BG13. We go over her spots again to make them a little bit darker and a little ruffle on her sleeve. And then we have this bow. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not yet, so we'll just colour it in anyway. Blending everything out. For her skin, I'm taking E000, E00 and E01. So I'm just laying down a base coat of E000. Next I'm taking the E01, following her hairline, and then I'm blending that out with the E00 and going back in with my E000 to blend that all out. For my flowers, I'm going to do a couple in RV52 and RV55. Again, light, dark, light. I'm only using 2 markers for this one. And I'll go around and do this tiny little one. Then I'll take BG11, just making sure to get it nice and wet so the BG13 blends. And I'll do a small one as well. So in the centre of this one, I'm just going to take some YG03 and some YG06. I just realised I started with the wrong colour, so I had to change my plan. For her hair, I think I'm going to go V91, V93 and V95. So I'm just going to fill in her hair. Need to slow down a little bit. Some V95. Add the V93 over the top. And then blend with the V91. Do this bit here. Again, I'm going from my lightest to my darkest. There will be a full colour list on my blog. Oh, I wasn't meant to do this bit yet. Okay, so we'll leave that there for a minute. I'll grab the V95. Just following these lines a little bit. Now I'm going in with the V93 and blending it out with the V91. Then I'm taking the V91 and filling in the rest of the areas. My battery died, lucky I had another one on standby. I'm just going to finish some flowers. I don't have any tape, so I'm going to tape everything. I'm going to cut my base out of that and work out which pieces I'm using for what, and I'll be back once everything is cut. Okay, so I've cut out all my pieces. I have a little bowl full of pieces. Okay, I'm just going to show you my quick tip for putting itty bitty dies away. So I'm probably going to buy some itty bitty snap lock bags, but until I do, I just use my post-it tape and I tape these itty bitty dies right onto the stamp set, just so it holds them in place and they don't get lost, because I'm forever losing dies and itty bitty dies are the worst. So I have my card bases. I've got the extra card stock in case I need it, and I have some plain card stock in case I need it. Now I decided that for these I wanted to have some grass, so I've used the meadow borders and I'm just going to trim them down to size. I'm going to fold these so I can work out what the size will be, give them a score. So I had to put the die on, and then I cut this, and then I moved the die down and tried to line it up a bit so it would have a continuous cut. I also fussy cut some butterflies. My battery actually died on my camera, so I took the time to fussy cut the butterflies and go and do all my die cutting all at once. So I'm just going to trim off this little end bit because I don't really like it. And it's just over 3 inches by the looks, so we'll try that. I've made it just a smidge smaller, and again I don't like that little piece there, so I'm going to trim it off. I think I need the other grass dies. These are a little bit too tall for this, but that's what I have. I only have the meadow borders, so that's what I'm going with today. So I'm going to grab some double-sided tape and put that on. So I'm going to take it right up into the bottom of the grass so that no cardboard is sticking through. Everything's green. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. Oh, for some reason that one's cut through when this must be the one I had to put back through. So I'm just going to score my lines. Okay, for this one I don't want this back panel to fold, so I'm just going to fold this one. Now I've done all my panels. I've done the side panels in the pink and the front panels are in the pretty multicoloured flower one. Now, if you have some stickiness, make sure you use a clean side of your eraser. Just feel for the stickiness. And I have the sticky eraser one, but it gets gunky very easily, and so I'm always having to chop bits of it off, which can be annoying after a while. So I'm finding that an eraser works really well to remove any of that stickiness. Now I think because I cut one of my panels upside down, so I cut into the metal plate accidentally, it has cut through, so I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of tape to reinforce it so that it doesn't break. There's nothing worse than going to all the effort of making a card and then it breaking. And then I'm just going to give that a bit of a fold. I am going to line these up. I have some red liner tape that I'm going to use for this just because it's stronger. I'm going to cut it with my Tim Holtz scissors because they are non-stick. So I'm just going to stick a couple of pieces along the edge and do the same on the other one. But before I stick them together, I'm actually going to decorate my panels because it's easier to do that when they're flat. Let's add some tape to them. These are our outside pieces and the top of the box. So we can add our top panel, flip it over. So we have our front panel, and we add some tape to all our side panels. Okay, once you add tape to all your side panels, stick them on. One thing I like about these LDRS papers is that they're more of a cardstock than a paper, so they're quite sturdy, which is always good. Okay, now we have our papers on. I'm going to try and line these up. I think I'm going to try doing it this way because I'm not very good at getting things lined up, so I'm just going to line it up and fold it over and see if that works. So we have our 2 little grassy pieces that need some red liner tape on them as well. I was very lucky to be given this red liner tape, so very thankful because stuff is very expensive here. And this is a jumbo roll, so it should last me a while, hopefully. So I'm just going to try my best to line that up. And then I'm going to do the same with the second one. Oh no, I think I've put them in back to front. Luckily the red liner tape does not stick to this too badly. Oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, so make sure your grass is facing your front panel. Now I'm just going to slide it over a little bit, and then I'm going to do the same with the second one. And fold those pieces down. And we're going to fold that piece across, and then I'm going to untape and now we have our box. Give it a little bit of a work so it'll sit right. Now, I don't like having that blank bit at the back. There is two ways to do this. You could use your die and just cut a piece either a little bit smaller and have it come up to the scallop so that it'll cut the scallop at the top, or you can just cut a piece. So I am just going to cut a piece. I'm going to measure how wide the box is. It is 3 1/8. I don't know. I'm not very good with these measurements. So I think I want it to be 2.5 inches by 2 3/4. So I'm grabbing my Fiskars paper trimmer. I'm going to do the 2 3/4. Actually, I'll do the 2.5 first. 2 3/4 is the side measurement. And I'll go 2 3/4. And that should slide in there nicely. So I'm going to add some tape to the back of that. Now that I have my tape on the back of that, I'm just going to tape that in here. We have our front and our sides done. I think I'll add Winnie to the front and the puppy to the back. I have taken my giant bottle of Helma acid-free glue and have put it in one of these little precision bottles. I'll try it out and see how it goes. Haven't used one before. I might start with puppy and then Winnie. There I've got Winnie and puppy in, and then I have some extra little bits and pieces. I have a bow for Winnie's hair, so I probably should have done that first, but I might just stick that in the middle. And I have some itty little bones in here. I'm just going to add tiny little... I think I need to learn how to use this. I'm getting way too much glue. So I might take a scrap in here and just get a little bit off so we don't have glue everywhere. So I just wiped a little bit of glue off and I'm going to add that to his little paw. And I have all the things to make a banner. The nice thing about these dies is they add all the score lines for you to make it nice and easy for you to fold everything. And I have some flowers which I'm going to add some of these little curly flowers. Just add a little bit of glue. I'm going to add that on there. I can get it to stay. And I know I have another one of those little curly flowers somewhere. There it is. I'll add that to one of the bits of grass at the back. Good at gluing things to myself. Now if I was thinking that through, I actually would have swapped those flowers, but it's all good. So I'm missing a flower somewhere, but it's all good. It probably fell out somewhere. Oh, it's on me. There we go. So I probably won't use all of these flowers on the front, but I'll probably stick one of them somewhere else. I might stick that one in there, but I'm going to stick these flowers in. I'm just going to add a dab of glue to these little stems. And add them to the front of the box. I'm just going to pinch them with my tweezers to hold them in place. So what I'm going to do is do the two end ones and then I'll do the middle one. Again, a little too much glue, but we're not really going to see it. So I'm just going to pinch that onto there. Wipe off the excess glue on my tweezers. These are the lawn fawn flowers. So we're just building up our flowers. I'm just going to add these middle ones just a little bit lower down, just so they contrast a little bit. Okay, so now we have a row of flowers at the front. I think I added my Winnie down a little too low, but she's got such skinny legs, I wanted her to adhere really well. So now I'm just going to add this flower. Just going to add this one at the back. And then I have another itty bitty little bone that I'm going to add at the front. Oh, I've just knocked my flower off because it wasn't dry yet. I'm good at that too. Always knocking things down. Okay, so now I've got my banner pieces. I'll grab my banner and I'll line up where I want my pieces to go. So I'm just going to start with this middle one, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there. I'm going to try and center it over our banner before it dries. Try and line everything up and press it down. Then I'm going to do the same with the two little bits. Just adding a tiny dot of glue, slipping it over, giving it a pinch. Hold it for a second so it glues. I'll do the same on the other side. Pinch it into place, and then we just have our two little banners for the end to go. So I'm just going to add some glue and then add my two little pieces. Then I'll have to let that dry so that I can glue it onto the base. Let's just have a check. They're too wide. I need to get them more straight down. Okay, that's a bit better. I'm just going to let that dry. Now I've got some butterflies. So I thought I'd have one of these itty bitty butterflies landing on our puppy's nose. This might have even been easier to do while our puppy was flat, but I like to do things the hard way. I'm just fluffing up the butterfly wings a little, and I'm going to add a butterfly to the back. I'm just sticking a little bit of glue in the middle and on the antenna. And then I'll work out where I want to add one more butterfly. For the rule of threes, I'm just adding it to the flower and I'm giving it a press. We just have to stick our banner on. Hopefully it's dry enough now. This is always fun, trying to get the banner to stick, trying to get itty bitty pieces to stick. So it's done. Try and make sure it's even. We have our banner on. Put the lid on the glue so it doesn't clog. I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock to go in there. 2.5. Okay, so I have my piece to go in there. So I think I'm going to go have a wooftastic day. Seriously, not 2 minutes before I started shooting this video, I did that sample for you with the LDRS ink. And do you think I know where it is now? I have obviously put it somewhere and I do not know where. I was going to use it for the sentiment, but I cannot find it. Going to grab this, put little corners. So we've got wooftastic. We'll put have a. Okay, I'm just going to turn it around to check my positioning. Okay. Oh no, it picked up my little piece. So let's get that back under there and we'll double check our positioning. My day was a little crooked, so I'm just trying to get it in the right spot, but it's very sticky. And again, I'll just move that. I'm going to stamp have a wooftastic day. That's stamped nicely. Clean my stamps off. Put them right away because teeny stamps, again, notorious for losing things. So I am going to add a piece of foam tape to the back of this. So on the back of this, I will generally add a white piece with some stamping and a sentiment. As I don't know what it's going to be for just yet, I'm going to leave that. But there is our finished Mini Winnie Fairytabulous box with our Lawn Fawn scallop box, some flowers from the Sun Bunny set. I've used the Meadow Borders dye to do the grass. I think I want to get the other ones. And I just realised I never finished his tag. Got ahead of myself as usual. So I'm just going to find the Copic that's in this box and I'm going to fill in his tag because I forgot. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. We didn't make too much of a mess doing that. And there's his little tag all filled in. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. What's your favourite thing from the box? I have made one of the mini envelopes, but I haven't used it on anything. I just wanted to see what it looked like. Are you enjoying your box? If you had this box, what would be the first thing you pulled out to use? I'm a little sad that I don't like the hybrid inks because I was really looking forward to that. I really was hoping it would work with Copics and watercolour and be a all-in-one solution, but it's not. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Go create some arty crafty alchemy yourselves. See you later.